Hello. Today, Lana Surla, HR partner, and Marina Kreculj Pesic, senior HR partner with high experience in HR strategically and on all levels from ASSERT, will talk about full body HR scan. With covering. Hello. Today, Lana Surla, HR partner, and Marina Kreculj Pesic, senior HR partner with high experience in HR on all levels from ASSERT, will talk about full body HR scan. They will cover the topics such as HR universal or is it HR systematic, looking at the HR as a whole body from all perspectives with multidisciplinary practice. Hello.
Hi. Hello, Sofia. Welcome, everyone.
Welcome.
It is really a pleasure to have you all here and to meet you again here. So, yes, and thank you for introduction. My name is Marina, and I'm a senior HR partner in ASSERT International, and we are a part of Manpower Group Southeast Europe cluster. Also, we are focused and specialized in people development, in assessment, and in researches in HR department. So besides me, today you will meet Lana, and she's responsible for the HR research and analytics within our team. So today we are talk about screening of HR function. And at the very beginning, I really would like to clarify our perspective in this kind of project. We are speaking about this topic in terms of external HR support to our internal HR colleagues and internal HR experts. So since you, as internal HR, are acting as a partner to your business and also to your company, actually, in majority of our projects, it is us who will partner with you in that project. So the situation when we step in the company to support the operations are usually triggered by some internal reorganizational projects and processes. So commonly, actually management initiates some kind of HR upgrade or corporatization of HR or similar situation where we have been helped by internal HR. And for example, we also support our colleagues on the new role. So when new HR manager steps in the company, then we help our colleague to understand the complete situation and to define where to start. So the approach we advocate is professional, also neutral and objective. And everything we are going to share today.
Excuse me, Marina. Lana, could you please swap the screen? I'm sorry, it's just the technical part. Okay, good. Okay, thank you.
Great. So yes, I stopped in the part when I'm describing our approach. So it is really important to know that we advocate a professional, neutral, and objective approach. So today, Lana and we are going to share some information and results, and everything we are going to present is a result of our experience in the market. So we have hundreds projects we concluded in different industries and organizations and companies. So as a result, today we come back to our community, to you, to share our insights. And I hope so to propose the model and the baseline wherever we act as an HR strategist. And so this is the model we use in a scanning of HR function. So our model is some kind of combination of a few best known models in HR, such as HR value chain. I'm pretty sure that you know all about that model based on the work of Povey and Richardson, also based on 8-box model by Paul Bosley and Harvard framework for the human resource management. So why we find this hybrid model so useful for us and for our projects? In the first place, it recognizes the power of context, internal and external context. So this model helps us to set and to align the expectations of stakeholders, while at the same time, actually it keeps the structure. So the most important is that the wider context supports us in tailoring, and this model allows us to tailor our approach, our model, and our actions. And the second point is that we consider 3 stages of HR screening process. So when we do screening, we start with understanding, and then feeling, and then measuring. So What I would like to highlight here is that this and our new approach, or our approach that focuses on experience the activities and measuring the outcomes, is actually our strategy to balance between the quantity and the quality. So, for example, we would rather spend a few days more on hiring a new employee in order to make sure that the new person will be a better fit in our company. So the goal in this situation should be to get the best person in the right position and not to cut the corners and to hire someone as cheaply or as quickly we can. So this shows why we should focus on measuring outcomes instead of measuring the activities. And this model also allows and emphasizes that point. And third point is that we actually have shifted from measuring to feeling the activities. Definitely, just to understand our perspective, we respect the metrics, and we actually do quantitative research. But our main focus is on measuring, but the outcomes, measuring outcomes instead of measuring activities. Okay, and what we do with HR practices and activities. So we do analysis of processes and we challenge HR practices and we evaluate the experience practitioners and consumers of our activities. When I say ours, I mean HR activities have in order to reach desired outcomes we previously agreed with management or with our internal HR colleagues. So now we'll go briefly through all three stages: understanding, then feeling, and measuring. Lana will help us to understand the context. She will demonstrate what is our understanding of the context process by sharing facts we got from our recent research of HR function. So Lana, please share the context and give us some fact information related to the current context of our HR market in the Serbia and the region.
Okay, thank you, Marina. In Assert, we create most suitable. Our approach is to create most suitable and more customized solution for our clients. So, in process of making that solutions, we use as our first step. We use facts and metrics for broader context and realistic basis. So, as Marina said, today I will present our preliminary results about our newest research. We called it HR market screening. So this is the first section of the project, and until now we have more than 50 companies participated. So if we talk about industry representation, we can see that our sample until now is pretty much representative, and it will be even more at the end of the project. So just look at the graph, at the second graph. We can see that this graph is related with average working experience of HR leaders. And when I say HR leaders, I mean on HR managers, HR supervisors, or team leaders, for example, for talent acquisition. So we can see that the most frequent category, the most chosen category is less than 3 years of experience, and after that, 3 to 5 years of experience. It's very important to have these results in mind during this case study. So we go on with the results. If we talk about key functions of HR sector, we can say that first two results can be a backlog of existential crises that have shaken our labor market in previous years. I talk about HR administration and recruiting and selection. And we can say that those results can be described as more reactive HR. But also we can see the other results such as training, development, talent management, HR analytics, and those results can be described as more proactive HR. For some of HR functions, it is legit to be outsourced and still integrated to other HR functions. So when we talk about outsourcing services, outsourcing services is more related to activities. Marina already mentioned that we have activities and outcomes in our model, and outsourcing services is represented with more developed HR, which focus are outcomes and not activities. So, okay, outsourcing services can be represented within those companies who have more developed HR, or those companies who have no HR at all, or maybe they're at the beginning of developing HR department, or in those companies who have some kind of strategic turn in business strategy. Okay, now we will talk a little bit more about reporting lines for HR leaders, for local HR leaders. And we can see that the reporting line is very complex. And for us as external consultants, it's very important to have that fact in mind, because before any strategy, any proposed solution, we need to respect this fact. So, this result can speak about of degree of autonomy in work, in everyday work for one HR leader. And if we talk about local reporting line, we can see that the most respondents declared that their direct reporting is to their CEO. And if we talk about the type of the reporting, we can see that the most chosen category is metrics, and after that, structural type of reporting. Now we will talk a little bit more about influence of HR function, actually about self-evaluation of influence. And we can see on the left graph that most respondents stated that actually described their role or their function as a very important partner in business strategy. And what is more encouraging result is that only few of them, 6.7%, declare that they have no influence at all in strategic decisions. So we can say that this is a very encouraging result, because our role, we can see that our role is very important, and it will be more important with the time. So I just want to mention about the second graph. We can see the influence of global HR functions on local HR. And we can see that the most frequent category, chosen category, is decisions, is category about decisions that are made locally with guidelines from the global level. And I just want to ask what that means in our everyday practice. Can we say that the glass is half full or half empty? We can definitely think that the glass is half full, because with the global know-how, we have a basis. And from the other side, still enough autonomy for react tailored on local level. And now we are here at the last slide about our survey for today. We will briefly touch on changes that have shaken our sector in previous period. So we can see that most respondents cited the biggest change as the most frequent category is the biggest change in business volume. And actually that means, of course, increase in business volume. And I just want to say that definitely this result can be related to global pandemic, but this result is also with line with our other researches, our other results about changes in labor market trend. And I just want to say that those tectonic disturbances in HR sector occur not only because of the global pandemic or because of the strategic turn in HR sector, but it's also related to the changes in generations, changes in innovative technologies, and consequently changes in vocations. So just look at the second graph. We will talk a little bit more about the biggest challenges for internal HR. And we can see that the most chosen answer is internal communication with other departments and management, and after that, employee motivation. So what can we do with those results? This is a very realistic and very common results for all of us. So all of these results actually can help us to make a good context and to actually have with these results we can make an introduction for our next steps because actually now we completed the left side of the model, and Marina will go on with the explanation about our other parts of our models. And sorry, Marina, I always lose my orientation when I go deeper into the research results. So before we move on the other parts of the model and guiding ideas and main conclusions, I just want to say that the whole project the whole research will be available soon. So if anyone is interested in more detailed results, of course, feel free to contact us. Sorry, Marina, you can go on now.
Thank you. We still have enough time to go through the other stages. So after that first stage, understanding the complete context, and Lana provide us with information about trends on local HR market and demonstrate a part of our understanding stage. Back to previously mentioned model, in our model, we have 4 levels of scanning of the HR function, and this part, it is the greatest part actually of our efforts actually lies. So when it comes to practices in HR, the first level is based on intended HR practices. The checklist of mandatory procedures we developed allows us to identify missing procedures mandatory by law, also to eliminate redundant practices, and to establish new procedures to reinforce the best practices through them. We can, of course, get best practices from the global, or we can develop it locally. So our comprehensive checklist is a really great starting point. This list consists procedures for all HR sub-areas. For example, when we do screening of HR administration, we are looking for procedure regarding labor relations or organizational scheme or structure. And when it comes to recruitment and selection, we do analysis of procedure for hiring or maybe for assessment of external candidates and similar. So the first level is intended practices. The second level of scanning of are actual HR practices. And what we do with the actual HR practices, we use ABO methodology, activity-based optimization. The main idea of this approach is to identify all activities and processes within HR or any other function, and then to distinguish core and non-core activities. And after mapping, we can design and propose optimized model of HR function, and we do that. In addition to ABO methodology, we practice shadowing techniques. So here we're looking for gap between intended HR practices and procedures and actual practices in the real time and everyday activities. So in this stage, actually we are aiming to challenge the execution of previously established HR procedures. The third level are perceived HR practices. So interviews and questionnaires, which are standardized, are our main tool for self-evaluation and evaluation in order to check the experience of stakeholders and the process owners. So we are interested to understand the experience in using established practices and procedures. So as a final level of screening, we do individual and group assessment. And our goal here is to identify the capacity and potential of human resources in human resource department. This part could be slightly sensitive, but we rely actually on partnership with our internal colleagues and on our shared goal. And the whole collaboration we have with internal HR department. So, and when it comes to potential barriers we faced during screening of HR function, the barriers are quite like the biggest challenges the HR we identified in our survey. So internal communication, definitely, then the role HR function has in the company, and the definition of HR strategy as integral part of company strategy or as a product of the company strategy. So bearing that in mind, we speak with management actually in terms of outcomes. And in that way, we have enough space to design, of course, together with our internal HR colleagues and ambassadors, we can design the HR processes, activities, and practices in order to achieve desired outcomes we previously agreed with management. So after we collect, analyze, understand all inputs, we design the action plan for HR function. And upon that, our internal HR colleagues can implement it with or without our support. And finally, the measuring of outcomes steps in. So the result of measuring outcomes are definitely quantitative. And for example, here we can measure retention or engagement or satisfaction, employer branding. So after completion of all previous steps in systematic and professional way, I can suggest, and I really believe that we can relax and celebrate positive effects and outcomes we together with our internal colleagues measured. So it is in a nutshell our model. Lana?
Okay. Well, actually, we have general rules, but we always learn from our everyday practice. We always need that extra value from our colleagues, such as their HR representatives in our clients' companies. So I'm definitely a fan of numbers. But numbers should never be an alibi. Numbers cannot be a distractor from the human approach and substantive issues. For example, for you, it's not the essence to have fully standardized, fully structured process, but the point is for your people to decide to stay in your company.